This morning, we shall be speaking to Ahmed Saeed Nasrallah. He's president of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, SLAJ, on his official New Year's message as president, and as he reflects as well on the progress, challenges, and the future, I would say, of the media landscape in Sierra Leone. We shall also be discussing lessons learned 26 years ago, January 6, 1999, since rebel forces entered Freetown and launched a campaign of terror where millions of people, well, around the country died. Women, men and children murdered, mutilated and raped, among other things. We do encourage you indeed to stay glued to the program. You can add your voice to the program by sending your questions or general comments on what we'll be discussing generally this morning. We have two segments. This is the first that is beginning now. We are indeed delighted in the studio this morning to be joined by Ahmed Saeed Nasrallah. As I said, he's president of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, the chief journalist, I would say, as he delivers his final year New Year's message in the role he has been occupying for a while. He'll be reflecting on the progress, challenges, and the future of Sierra Leone's media landscape. His call for unity, professionalism, and ethical standards highlights the essential role of journalism in shaping a cohesive and progressive society. And of course, we'll hear the latest update on the new date for the next SLAJ general elections. Good morning, Chief Journalist.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers and listeners. Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, a lot of people, across the country have termed your leadership as, well, being the most successful. Do you share a similar view?
Well, I don't. Let's let them assess me. I don't want to assess myself, okay. And I feel honored that they are saying that. Yes, but definitely I've done my own bit. I will not solve all the problems of the media.
Indeed.
But definitely, I was elected to do my own part. And then there will be somebody else that will come in again and continue. We started from way back there in 1971. We've had presidents and they've come and gone. They've all done their bits, and so I've only done my own bit for 2 terms. And I'm sure the next person will also come and do his or her own bit.
People who have been following closely, who I would term as, essentially critics, have often said that you are pro-government and that you've not been quite vociferous in a lot of issues, particularly in reference to attacks of some journalists, umbrellaed on the SLAJ. What would you say?
No, well, I think, yes, they have a right to their opinion. They have the right to that assessment. And it's because we changed the approach when we came in as SLAJ. I'm sure they have known SLAJ for a pressure group that always aligns with the opposition voices every time, to ensure that they also add their voice and to hold government to account and other people to account. But when we came in, I decided that I have made my promises, my manifesto, and I'm going to ensure that I achieve all of those promises I made in my manifesto to the members. And because that manifesto was put in place by both me and the membership, because I went around and asked them, what are your priorities? What do you want the next SLAJ president to address? And all they gave me is what I put into that manifesto. And so when I came, I said, okay, we've been doing this we've been positioning ourselves for the last 50 years. We've not achieved anything for the media. And governments have come and gone. They also made manifestos in their political manifestos, what they would do for the media. But when they came to power, when they are elected, most of them abandoned what they've promised to do for the media. So I said, okay, let's change the approach. Let's try to see government as a partner first, and let it also try to respect the legitimacy of the government because they are elected. So that's the first part. And so once you do that, then you build a relationship with the government, and then they have trust in you, and they have confidence in you to deal with you also. Because if you want to bring about changes for the media or for any sector in this country, it is the government that has to do that. You have to go through the government. The government is a partner, so we can't deny that fact. That is my approach. I said we've been putting out press releases for the past 50 years, condemning government, condemning public officials, and calling for investigations and calling for action. Nothing will come out of that because the politicians have the power. We don't have the power. We just raise the voices. We just amplify the voices and raise and do advocacy and raise and those things. But if we want to achieve tangible things for the media, so that we prioritize our own objectives, then we have to change the approach. So that's why people are saying that I'm pro-government. No, I'm not pro-government. I just found a way with my executive during my administration to say that, okay, let's change the approach and let's prioritize the media. For these 6 years, let's just try to empower the media and build the structures so that in the future, we'll be able to have the structures in place that will ensure a vibrant, sustainable, and professional and ethical media. So that's what we have been doing. But we stand by our colleagues. But I think the issue that they will criticize me for is on national issues, and not at SLAJ not adding the voice too much on national issues, because the politics is too toxic now for us, and so we decided to choose our battles. But we made some interventions. If you remember the August 10 crisis, I was here at State House and I spoke to the president, and I spoke to the opposition, and I spoke to our colleagues in diaspora. I also spoke to the media and to everybody. It's a collective responsibility. We should all blame ourselves because we did not do our homework and we did not work together as a nation to ensure that we ensure peace and stability. If you remember the issue of the Auditor General, we put our voices to that because we believe in transparency and accountability in governance and holding government to account. We did that. Remember during the elections, the gentle issue on religious sensitivities, we raised our voice. So we choose the battles that we don't want to, we decided not to get into the hands of the opposition or people who have dissenting voices as much as possible. But what we did was to ensure that we delegate that responsibility to the professional journalists themselves, because that is our responsibility, to ensure that we train journalists to be professionals and ethical and to hold government to account. That is the job. SLAJ is not a media house. SLAJ is a professional association. And our job, we have three primary jobs. One, to ensure that we protect and promote freedom of expression and of the press, so that journalists have a conducive environment to practice, to ply their trade, and also ordinary citizens have the freedom to express their opinions on national issues. Two, to cater for the welfare of our colleagues, to ensure that wherever they are employed, they are paid reasonable wages and they have good conditions of service. That's one we are still struggling with that. To ensure their safety and security to do their work. That's what we have been doing. For every journalist that has come under some kind of threat for the work they are doing, we have stood by them. We have stood by them to protect them. That is our primary responsibility. And we have done that throughout the 6 years. And to also come and look out for opportunities for training and building their capacities to go further with their education and get more knowledge and skills to be able to do their work. Those are our functions. The function of holding government to account is with the media. And we don't interfere with the media, editorial policy of the media. The media is independent here. We have pluralistic media. We have hundreds and hundreds of media houses registered to do that job. So that's why see, people are saying I am pro-government. That is not their perception, because we've changed the approach and we want to prioritize SLAJ now in the media for this period, so that we empower ourselves. We've been promoting politicians. We've been doing all our work to protect democracy and other things, and we've left our own agenda unsolved. And so that's why they're saying that. So I respect their views, but I disagree with them. I'm not pro-government. I'm not pro-opposition. I'm merely a president elected by members of SLAJ to do certain things that I promised I should do, and I'm working towards them. And I'm satisfied that at the end of my term now, almost at the end of my term, I've accomplished most of those things that I promised I'll come to deliver. Yeah.
One of your biggest successes, one would say, is the repeal of Part 5 of the 1965 Public Order Act. What success would you say that has had, or changes has it brought to the practice of journalism?
Well, to me, that is the foundation for all the development that has taken place within the media. That law, the repeal of that law. And I don't want to take credit for it alone as president of SLAJ, but I'm happy, I'm honored, and I feel blessed and privileged that it's happened under my tenure. But it's something that's been they've been working on from since 1971. That was one of the reasons why they even formed SLAJ, because this law was promulgated in 1965 under Sir Albert Magai. And so when the Journalists Association was formed in 1971, that was one of their objectives, to see how they can advocate for the repeal of that law, because that was a draconian law. And so we've had presidents who have challenged the law, who have fought and they've done their part. We have individual journalists who have done their own bits, writing articles and doing advocacy. I've done so many cartoons on that since I was a reporter, and up to the time I became a secretary of SLAJ and those other things. So we've all done our own bit. And so I don't want to take credit for that as my achievement. It's a collective achievement, because this is what we have been fighting for 50 years. And so, like I said, the repeal set the foundation for the development that is taking place right now. And we are also very fortunate to have the IMC Act of 2000 also repealed, and now we have the IMC Act of 2020, which is now also being reviewed. to also give some powers to the MC to be able to enforce the area of welfare of our journalists, to ensure that media owners or media employers pay their journalists not below the minimum wage, and also pay their social security contributions. So these are the things that have happened. So I believe that is the foundation for us. And if you look, with that law, we've been visiting the CID almost every week. Mm-hmm. My previous colleagues, former president, they've spent all their time going to the CID to get their colleagues released, because they will arrest them on a Friday, and they will spend the weekend there up to Tuesday, and SLAJ will intervene and get them out. And so that has been the pattern. So politicians have used that law, 99%, to suppress the media and to suppress critical voices and to threaten and to cower the media not to do their work that they're supposed to do. And so with the repeal of that law, we've seen a huge change. I don't know where last I visited the CID to get my colleagues released. So that part we've made some progress, and we've also impacted on the World Press Freedom Index. We've had some movement within that are positive. We only had one instance during my 6 years when we had a drop. That was the time they enacted the cybersecurity law. But after that, we picked up again this year, last year, and we hope to see more progress. So all of the development that has taken place within the media as a result of that the repeal of that law. Because when we were advocating for the repeal, we said, one, that law was not in consonance with our democracy principles of freedom of expression and freedom of the press, and that law was also preventing private sector investment into the media, because nobody wants to put their money in a sector that you will be liable to be jailed or to be detained for the slightest mistake you make or the slightest error you make. And we also said that law was also preventing women from coming to the profession. And so now we see more women coming to the profession. So that's our argument. And we see now, and we've had the Media Investment Conference, Media and Viability Investment Conference, to position the media in a way that we should be now able to attract investment and able to redefine the way we operate as media, so that we ensure that our institutions are viable and sustainable and become more professional. So for me, that is the foundation for the development that are now taking place in the media.
While delivering his speech at the 2024 Media Cocktail, His Excellency the President said he believed in, people-centered journalism, investigative journalism. So, but a lot of people have criticized, saying, the picture is not too similar on ground, even after
your enthusiasm to continue to do your work. So that's the change. So we don't want to. So that is coming basically from us. So what we need is basically to do more public education about the role of journalists and why the public should also support, and also appeal to the politicians to ensure that their supporters do not attack journalists because of their views or what they write or what they do. But to me, we are doing well. If you look at the indices, if you look at all the instances, go on social media, you will see people are free to write. Look at the newspapers. The journalists are free to write. Go on radio. They are holding government officials to account. The space is there. You see them every day. It's happening every day. So if people say, yes, there are challenges like we had with Dixon and the IG. Those are isolated cases. They don't happen every day. They don't happen every day. So I believe we're making progress. Yes, we are making progress. We should be proud of making progress. Is so. It's not as we had before. We are making progress, but there are still challenges. We know there are still challenges, and we need to do more and work more to ensure that we work together, because we all have our power. The security forces, they have their own power. The media, we also have our power to write and to broadcast and to hold to account. The politicians, the police also have the power. The politicians also have the power. If we all decide to use our power against each other, then we're not making progress. It will be chaos. So we need to understand that we all have a role to play in the democracy, and we should collaborate, and we should respect those rules. You respect my role, I respect your role, and we support each other. And then there will be stability, and there will be peace, and everybody will perform their duties in a responsible manner.
Let's look at professionalism for a while. A lot of stakeholders in media have been turning attention to the manner in which journalism is being practiced today. Yellow journalism is on the rise. These days it's even very difficult, if not impossible, to access or consume, human interest-centered kind of content on the media. Much of what people broadcast or write on now are donations, and public relations, events, and the likes. I think on the 27th of December, Dr. Isaac Masako as well wrote extensively on how badly the standards of journalism has fallen and the factors which he advanced to be responsible for that. Do you think the media would ever wake up to the call, the deafening call of being independent in a very financially unstable age that we're currently living?
Yes, I think so. I don't think the standards have fallen. They have not. And I think we have a new challenge to deal with, which is the space. The space has broadened with digital, with innovation and technology. We have now digital space, and everybody has now a smartphone, so it's very difficult for you to distinguish who is a journalist and who is not. Everybody is cramming the space with content and information, and some are passing off as journalists, professional journalists, but they are not. And so we in the legacy media and traditional media, we have not taken advantage of that space to ensure that we improve and we change the ways from the old ways, from the traditional ways, and try to be as more proactive and more timely with the news, and also packaging it in a way that we target the various audiences that are growing now, the young people on TikTok, on Facebook, and those on Twitter as well, and Instagram. Those are all audiences there, and the nature of news now, it is not only peculiar to Sierra Leone, but all over. The issue of professionalism, even people who are qualified, who have education, and who are trained, when they have interest, they forget about professionalism, they forget about ethics, because they want to support those interests. And that is what is happening here. The media is affected also by the political situation. We've seen that politics have also come into play here. You have journalists who will support their political party no matter what. They will put professionalism aside, they put ethics aside, just to support the interests of the party or their political candidate. It happens. And so that is our concern, and that is why we are trying to see how we can build that space in the middle where we'll have public interest and accountability journalism, so that we have a crop of journalists who will do in-depth stories, investigative stories. They have the resources to do so, and enrich the conversation. Because what we want to do as legacy media, we want to reclaim back the power of setting the agenda for national discourse, healthy debate, which is what's happening right now. And so that is our challenge. So that is, if you look at what we are planning to do for we have been planning for all these 2-3 years, and hope that it will take off this January or February, is the NAFPIN, the National Fund for Public Interest Media, because we think that is one initiative that will be a game changer for us in the media. We want to thank the BBC Media Action Sierra Leone and also the International Fund for Public Interest Media, who have committed initial resources to do a pilot phase for this one, and we also look forward to the government to meet their obligation or their commitment that they made at the investment conference, so that we get all the money to start to do this one is in a big scale. But in January or February, we'll launch a pilot phase, and journalists will come together, or media houses like AYV will apply for the funds. They will apply for the grants, and so we want to embark on to do some public interest stories on the economy, and you go and do in-depth stories with quality content and enriching content, and put it out there and syndicate it with other media houses. A group of journalists will come together, will do the same. We want to go to the mining sector, we want to go to the agricultural sector, we want to go to the educational sector, to the health sector, and bring out these stories, these human interest stories, in-depth stories, investigative stories, expose corruption, expose the gaps, the challenges, so that even the government will look at them and see the gaps and see the challenges, and even the development will look at them, at those stories, and see how they can readjust and see how they can come in to ensure that they put up good policies to address the situation. So that is what we're trying to do. So if we get that one, then we believe that will force some of the media houses to re-engineer, because that is one of the outcomes of the conference, to challenge us that government has their own part to play, the international community has their own part to play, the international media development organizations have their own part to play. But we also as journalists, we also as the media people, we have our own part to play. That is to re-engineer, to change the ways, to consolidate, because we are losing the essence of the media because of the way we are operating. We are still operating in the old ways of doing things. We have over hundreds and hundreds of over 500 media houses registered in Sierra Leone. The MC the other day wanted to stock off the list of those register of those who have not been regular in putting out content or in operating. They don't need to be in the register. You don't have to have the kind of number of media houses. So we're still challenging our colleagues, come together, do mergers, and put resources together so that you have the capital. You have the capital and you have the structures that will ensure that you are sustainable, that you are viable, and you'll be able to attract the right professionals. The poverty in the media is what is driving everybody, all professionals away. I know, it's very challenging. Yeah, you're a professional, if you come from mass communications, you practice 1 or 2 years and you want to earn a good salary within the media. It's not possible. So that's why you see now our own guys everybody is becoming attracted to politics. They want to support the political party so that they will appoint them at the end of the day to higher positions where they will earn good salaries to take care of the family. You have a family to take care of. At some point in life, you have to make those decisions. You cannot be fighting for the public all your life and you don't get any reward. Those days are gone. So everybody thinks about their own livelihoods, about their own families. So these are the dynamics that are playing. And so for me, I think the standards have not fallen. It's not that we have new challenges that we have to deal with. And the legacy media need to step up and change their ways of operation and take advantage of the space. And we see this thing about bloggers again. People are talking about bloggers are interfering with our own place. Who are the bloggers? I'm a blogger if I want to be. A blogger. Nobody stopping you from becoming a blogger. You can blog. Everybody can also blog. Can also have their own blog. You release the information according to the people you are targeting, the audience you are targeting. Nobody stopping you from doing that. Nobody stopping a journalist from becoming a blogger or do your own bit on TikTok, do your own bit on have a large following and create content and those sort of things. It's a challenge for all of us. And we need to take that challenge and move it forward so that we begin to monetize some of the things that we are doing so that we earn resources. But we have to also meet our own obligation to re-engineer the industry. We know the problems. We've had conferences, we've had meetings for the past 15, 20 years about the industry, about the advertising sector, about how we can make money within the media, those sort of things. But we're not putting those solutions or those ideas into practice. That is a challenge. So I think it's high time we begin to think about that and let us also play our own part. We don't just want to rely on people to come and intervene and put their resources where they will not get anything at the end of the day. You
spoke about these mergers, and a while ago, SLAJ met with the current US ambassador, who similarly shared, such point of view that it would be essential, if not apt, to have media houses coming together and forming mergers, and even raised concern about the quality of the content he has been accessing in the country. Do you think it would be ever possible? I mean, just speak to the possibility of mergers in this country. Everyone wants to own a newspaper. Everyone wants to own a media house.
Exactly.
Do you think that will work in an age that is highly industrialized?
Yes, exactly. That is individualistic. Everybody wants to become now the top man and the owner in charge. Yes, the U.S. ambassador, very interesting guy, very interesting ambassador. He couldn't even believe it that we have so much, a country with this size has this amount of media houses operating. So it's all about one-man business. That's the nature of our own business. And the people who are owning these media houses are journalists themselves. I went to Kenya the other day and I went to one of their media houses, one of the main media houses. I've forgotten the name.
KBC?
KBC? Not ABC. No, it's a private.
Okay.
Yes. But I spoke to the manager in charge, to the person in charge, and if you see the facility, even to enter the media house, there's a checkpoint. They check you produce your ID card, they know who is coming in and who's going out. And when I went there, he told me this is owned by the public. Military officers have shares in it. Police officers have shares in it. Officers who believe in the media. Business people have shares in it. Ordinary market women and people who are doing business, they have shares in it. Wow. So that's the kind of media we need in here. So that it's a public media. So it's not one-man business. The idea of one-man business is what is defeating the essence of the media here. Because everybody wants to be, the owner wants to be the CEO, wants to be the editor, the proprietor, that I own it, is my own. That is what is causing the problem. And because it's owned by you, you don't have the resources alone to finance it and to ensure that you have accountability for yourself, for the media. Because you don't know how to manage your resources. You get the resources, you put it in the pocket, you send them to your family, and you don't put it back in the business to make it grow. So those are the challenges. So the nature of our business, we've not seen those kind of setup here. Because if we see them here, then it will be good for the landscape. Because they have radio stations for almost all of their local languages, targeting those audiences. And they have programs for them. They call them to the studio, they come and talk in their language, and people listen. So that is the direction we need to go. Otherwise, the essence of the media will not be felt. We'll be still struggling. People will continue to blame us, that we're not doing anything, that we are part of the problem. Yes, but I think that is the way to go in the future. We need to consolidate. We need to come together. We need to pull resources together and have credible, well-structured and resourced media houses that will attract the right professionals and sustain them, pay them good wages, good conditions of service, and then you'll see the content changing.
During your tenure as well, you've given birth to a lot of projects on the SLAJ, some of which are still running. You think there is a stiff possibility, for some of these, some of the most important projects to continue even after you're gone?
Yes, yes. I think one of the biggest one we've had, which I think will continue for a long time, and until we have the resources to be able to manage it on our own, is the IVerifi program. That one was very timely, and because we have to live with this information, misinformation. In this age, as technology improves, because that is the fastest changing sector, very dynamic. Technology is changing the way the media operates, and we have to be brace up. We have to brace up to ensure that we live up to those demands. And so the IVerifi came in at the right time for the elections, and we see what we have done to promote information integrity, to ensure that people have access to credible information around politics, not only around politics, but also around governance and other social things that are happening, so that they make informed decisions. So it's very key for us, and I'm happy that we are still thinking the same with the donors, the UNDP, with the main financier of that, and their partners, and to continue to support this program. Although the process is very slow, sometimes it's very cumbersome and slow, but they prioritize their institutional due diligence framework that they have in place, and so we have to work with that and ensure that it continues. But definitely the IVerifi will continue, and even under the EU funding that we're going to have for this year, for 2025, which is being led by the BBC Media Action Sierra Leone, and also our international parent organization, the IFJ. There is some component there to support the IVerifi. There was an indication that SLAJ will be able to have the resources to see how they can own it now and make it their own. But there is the question of sustainability. How do we sustain it? Because it did resources to ensure that we cater for the dedicated fact checkers and coordinators, and also the platform. UNDP is willing to hand over the platform to us, even with the name, with the brand name. But how do we sustain it beyond that? So these are things that we'll be discussing with the donors and see how we can do that. But that is something we need to have, because it's very critical for us, not for the people and for the government, and to ensure democracy thrives, because democracy does not thrive in the midst of misinformation and disinformation. People have to have access to the right information, credible information, and so that's why it's very essential. So we're working on that. I'm sure the IVerifi will continue. The other programs, some of them have wrapped up, and the one with NDI own part of the disinformation program has wrapped up, but they've done some studies. They came back and to see what impact does it make, and during those 2 years that the program ran for, from the elections and to now. And they've done some studies with people who benefited from the program and people who did not benefit from the program, and we're looking forward to that report. And once we have that, it will inform whether they will continue to support those kind of programs or they will change and support other programs. And,
right.
The other programs for training, they are one-off programs. They'll come for a certain period and they'll go back, but we'll continue to see how we can get those programs yet. But I'm happy that the IVerifi will continue. I'll assure that it will continue. We are in discussion with UNDP. We know the fact checkers are still there, but we've not had any conversation around contracts for November and December. But that one will be sorted out, because I've already signed the addendum to those ones. We're just waiting for the liquidation process to go through, and then the funds will be transferred, and then we have the third phase, which will come, we should have started this January, but I'm sure we'll get there when everything is settled in terms of the liquidation process. And then there is also the political debates issue of which was supported by NDI as well. That one will continue, because we don't want, because I attended the last symposium in America. We brought together all the debating committees across the world that are doing presidential debates, and then we met there and they said, we do not have to wait for elections to be doing debates. We have to develop the culture. And so the NPDC, the National Political Debate Committee, which we have formed, which is very unique, because it's a component comprising of not just the media, but also civil society and the youth, women, PWDs. They're all represented there in that group. And so they want us to ensure that we continue to do some activities to develop this kind of culture, not only among the politicians, but also among citizens, so that we believe in dialogue, and healthy dialogue and debate, not just insults and labeling one another, but let's talk on the issues. So that is what we have to be visible and do some things in between the election cycle, so that by the time we get to the elections, it will be something that the politicians will look up for. And we're looking forward to 2028 will be another opportunity for us again, because there will be no incumbency. Because the problem always comes with incumbency. When the president has won the first elections and have taken part in the debate, when they become president, they don't want to go back to the platform to debate. But now we have another opportunity, like we had in 2018, that those who will be contesting for the presidency will be new, and they don't have the immunity of incumbency anymore. So they will all be looking forward to stand on that stage. And so that one will continue with support from the NDI. And what other programs again? And then we have these programs that we've lined up for 2025 under the IFJ program, which I will talk about later if you have time.
I mean, you discussed many things in that speech, and another thing you did mention was the next election, time frame. Has the season already begun?
Yes. From now to June is about 5 months.
Yeah.
January, February, March, April, May, June. 5 months. 5 months. And before even by March or May, the SLAJ will have declared all the positions vacant, except for the presidency, because I'll be in charge. I'll be there to ensure that we have a smooth transition. But I've already announced the date for the elections, and we're working towards that to ensure that we have the resources, because it will be hosted here in Freetown, and we want to ensure that it's a free, fair, and credible elections. And we believe in SLAJ to do that for us with the help of their own partners. Yeah. So. Definitely, we're looking forward to that. But before that, we have one important activity, which is the Media Awards. The annual Media Awards will take place in April, on April 11th, at the Binti Money Conference, International Conference Fair. We're looking forward to that one. We also have May 3rd, World Press Freedom Day. We don't know yet what we will be celebrating on that day, but we'll think about that. Yeah. So those are the things that are coming up before the elections. And so the Secretariat will soon put out a press release to encourage members who have not complied with their membership obligations, to ensure that they do so within the time frame, so that you can only be eligible to vote when you have paid all your arrears and you're up to date with your membership dues. I think that will come out as soon as possible to give members the time to ensure that they sort that out with the Secretariat and prepare for the elections. But we want to ensure that there will be a very fair elections, and beyond that, we want to ensure a smooth transition with the handing over ceremony, so that we have a period. We'll announce that on the day for the conference. That after the elections, we'll have a formal handing over ceremony, like we did the last time, so that we have a smooth transition. And I will be with the new executive for like a period of 1 year to ensure that they are in place, show them around, introduce them around to our partners and to those we'll be working with, to ensure that they have they come in and be at speed with what we have been doing. Yeah.
Do you have any final, word of advice or caution, just golden knowledge that you'd like to leave with the general journalism population in Sierra Leone as we wrap off?
Yeah, well, I think I will continue to amplify the issue of freedom goes with responsibility. That it goes for all journalists, not only for journalists, but also for people, ordinary people who want to hold government to account, who want to hold public officials to account. That you have a freedom to do so, but to do so with respect, do so with fairness, and ensure that that freedom you have, the people you are also holding to account, they also have their own freedom. They are also Sierra Leoneans. They are also citizens, and they also have reputations to protect. So whatever you're doing, make sure you put yourself in their shoes, and it's a job to do to hold them to account, and that is the only privilege that ordinary citizens have to hold government to account, is to expect their opinion, no matter what kind of opinion, and the public officials have to bear with what they say, because that is they also have to show some kind of restraint in terms of how they respond to public issues, or how people express their opinions about them and about their stewardship. And so we need to understand those things, and we want to also call upon the security sector to continue to guarantee the safety and security of our members, and ensure that they practice in a conducive environment where they are not threatened, where they are not cowed, and ensure that we also take responsibility of our own actions and ensure that what we do, we're doing it in the interest of the public, of the general good, not for any sectoral interest, not for any parochial interest, not for any interest that is not in the interest of the good, of the general good. So those are the appeals that we will make as my final word. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you, Chief Journalist, President of SLAJ, Ahmed Saheed Nasrallah. Indeed, we do wish you well.
Yeah,
you've almost come to the end of your tenure as a president. I hope you will not be going away. You'll still be lingering around.
I will still be in the media.
All right.